Textile Union sent message across to Buhari through Comrade Oshiomhole. All right, my people, before I will continue, good morning, my wonderful people. Good afternoon, good evening. I greet every one of you according to your time. I remain your humble girl, Anointed Lady TV. If you are new to my channel or you have been watching me, you've not subscribed, please today consider hitting that red button where they root subscribe and put on the bell. The essence of that bell is whenever I upload any video, you will be notified. To all my returning subscribers, thank you very much for tuning in, and to my new subscribers, you are welcome.
Thank you very much. Well, my president, Comrade Adaji, President of the National Union of Textile and Garment Workers, and my Comrade Ali Baba, the newly appointed Acting General Secretary. First, I apologize, I was not able to attend the convention where you were re-elected, and being re-elected is a affirmation of confidence. As we say, it means you have been tested and trusted by workers. And I also know that the trade union movement is the only one compared to the political parties where there's no question of election rigging. The workers will either elect you on your merit or they don't. Neither money, nor ethnicity, nor religion is a factor when it comes to choosing who lead the working people. So this is a very rich background from which I believe I have learned a lot, and I owe everything in my life to the Textile Workers Union that gave me the opportunity first to experience injustice, to provide a platform to organize, mobilize. I emphasize organize rather than agonizing, to mobilize rather than being passive and wallowing in self-pity, and to recognize that injustice can be eradicated and a new world can be born from the ashes of the old once we recognize that the union makes us strong. And to unite is to build strength to counter the enormous power of capital. This rich background and the capacity to speak, to organize and give ordinary workers confidence to collectively challenge injustice in workplaces is a valuable lesson that has helped me, that I continue to fall back on when I meet challenges and need justice and people of power in all my life. So I'm rather very grateful, and I ask you to convey my gratitude at every opportunity to the Textile Workers Union for giving me that platform to develop what obviously is uncommon in Nigeria. Not just the clarity of vision, but the courage to fight for what is right, and the courage to say no, and the passion and willingness to recognize other God guardians, that those who say they are not ready to pay a price for fighting for something, they will pay a huge price for fighting for nothing. And it's incredible how much I gained in terms of leadership qualities as the General Secretary of the Textile Workers Union until I left to become the President of the Nigerian Labour Congress, which again was another huge school that gave me a much wider platform to be able to lead what I call a general purpose vehicle, to channel all the discontent of working people, working families, and indeed all those who live on their sweat in Nigeria and beyond. So all of that for me has been my greatest school, and for that I'm forever grateful. And I'm happy that in spite of all the challenges in the environment, that you have kept the union flag flying, and I want to appreciate Ali Baba. I have very fond memories of our first encounter. He being a shop floor worker that I was before, and engaging in a mass meeting under the sun as to how to find solutions to problems that confront workers, I think somewhere in Holborn or so, in Kano. And to rise from that grassroots level to become the General Secretary. That is my experience too, for which I congratulate you from rising from the shop floor to becoming the General Secretary. So when workers talk, you know where they are coming from. When they behave, you know what to form their choice of behavior. And you also interface with employers, and you have first-hand knowledge about the tension between the profit motive and the social purpose of trade unions, vis-a-vis that of the employer. So I'm at home to be in your company, and I'm very grateful for your kind thoughts and your kind statement coming all the way from Abuja to see me. I owe you a visit, and I hope to go to do so in the no distant future. And the conference you are organizing, the educational conference, by the special grace of God, I will want to be. I assure you I will attend. I will be part of it. And able to learn what the new challenges are. But let me also thank you for recognizing that President Buhari recognizes that Nigeria must return to manufacturing when he gave those directives. Just exactly the same directive that he gave on importation of rice and other food. I mean, it's a joke when people prefer the act of eating what they don't produce and producing what they don't want to eat, when we have everything that other nations lack to be self-sufficient in food production and to be self-sufficient in several other aspects of life. I mean, the textile industry, for example, I had a huge dream. I was clear that the industry had huge opportunity to grow, which was what informed our building of our labor house in Kaduna, in Lagos, in Asaba, and acquiring property in Abuja. I never believed that things will degenerate to the level that they have come to. And I think in finding solutions, the President has made the right pronouncement. And I'm very happy that the Central Bank Governor, Governor Emefiele, is on record as having been a very, let me say, an activist CBN governor that goes beyond the traditional boundaries of central banking to try to identify sectors which, if they fall back on commercial banks, cannot be revived. And whether a president that shares a complete commitment to reinventing the Nigeria dream of being self-sufficient in many respects. I mean, it's a shame that given our population of over 200 million, that the textile industry can collapse. But even more shameful is the fact that by our pattern of dressing as Nigerians, I mean, our per capita consumption of fabrics is more than the world average because of the way we dress. The average person will wear 8 meters, 10 meters, long pants, and inner wear plus a big babadiga and a cap and socks. And all of these things we were producing in Nigeria, whether it's Guinea brocade, it's socks, which was made by Nonit, and a flourishing garment sector, and so on and so forth. I believe that this is the time that everyone who lay claim to political leadership and anyone who wish peace, security, and stability in Nigeria, we recognize that the job we need for our ever-growing young population cannot be created in the public sector. nor can they be created in the service sector. We need, as a matter of deliberate policy, to refocus policy towards labor-intensive industries. And textile industry is number one. It requires very little, you don't have to be a graduate or even an HND holder to be able to be employable in a typical textile factory. Even with the benefit of modern technology, so much can be possible. But it clearly employs much more. And like the president has said in that policy, executive order 3 that you refer to, if all the uniform of Nigeria Army, all the uniform of Nigeria Police, all the uniform of our civil defense, all the uniform of our custom service, all the uniform by government-owned schools across the country, and even just all schools, whether government or private, from primary school to secondary school and all that. If all of these are, as a matter of policy, are made in Nigeria, the huge job opportunity is unquantifiable. You rightly said it. We have the cotton. So who produce cotton in Nigeria? Rural people. So that will lead to rural prosperity. And then they take this cotton to ginnery, where you have a blend of workers and machines to try to produce, remove the seedlings and produce cotton lint. From there to textile factory to do the spinning, which is said is a huge area of labor, even with modern technology. And then from spinning to weaving. And after weaving, you have a huge section to do the bleaching before it gets to pretty unit, where you have to print to various colors and fabrics like the one you are wearing. And then to finishing, where they do all the stashing and do the final, all of it they have to do. So we had, and this is no theory, this is what I met as far back as 1968-69, a flourishing, comprehensive, fully integrated textile factory. At that time, we had people in government with less bachelor degrees or doctorate degrees and even less professors, less universities. So it's unacceptable that many years, decades later, when we have all the brains and people sermonize every day by job creation, they do not recognize that these things are not achieved by lamenting. They require imaginative and bold decisions to shift away from importing to production. And going forward, that is what we must do. Like somebody said, whenever you wake up should be your morning hour. You can still do 8 hours a day if you recognize you wake up late, then you sleep late. So Nigeria cannot escape addressing the question of returning to manufacturing and reviving the textile industry. I mean, when you look at the story of Bangladesh, a very poor country, about 60% of their foreign earnings come from textile industry, employ more than 4-5 million workers. And just imagine Nigerian textile industry employs 10 million. And this is not a huge thing to achieve. Just to see that we consume 50% of what we wear should be made in Nigeria. Everybody that goes to government work must do so with Nigeria-made quality. But things will change. So I am never, I'm an optimist. I've not given up. I think that the crisis we face will compel us and is compelling us to recognize we don't now even have the foreign exchange to evolve in reckless importation. So the reality of instability in the oil sector, side by side with a huge increase in our population, dictate that as a matter of a latin self-interest, those who wield political power must refocus on the manufacturing sector. It is just manufacturing sector, not the banks, not the oil sector. This will produce high-paid jobs, elite jobs. But the middle class, lower middle class, and working class jobs have to necessarily be located in terms of the manufacturing sector. Produce our own clothes, produce our own food, process the food, process our cocoa, and do our carpentry work or furniture making produce glass and aluminium, all of the things we need. If we just do half of that, many jobs will be created in the chemical sector, in the rubber sector. Look at the amount of plastic we consume or we should consume. So me, I'm hopeful that out of the current tension arising largely from idle youths, that there will be a renewed thinking. And let nobody pass the blame from one level of government. Government at all levels, we all have a role to play. Because there is no federal land, the land is in the states. So state must do something to attract competition. My couple of visits to US when I was much younger, as a unionist, I was pleasantly surprised to see that even within America, states are competing and advertising the advantage they have if industry is located in their own state, some of the incentives they will provide. The same thing when I went to China in 1984, 86. And then the Chinese were providing all kinds of incentives that I have to ask the manager, what do you gain when you give foreigners this kind of free incentive to free power supply, free this, free that? So what do you gain? You just expect your workers for these multinationals, and they said no. Comrade, we know what we're doing. First is that we have 1.3 billion mouths to feed. So just getting them out of their homes to go to work is itself an achievement. But when they are busy, they won't plan evil. And so, but why they are doing it, they look stupid. But the Chinese are never stupid. They are just trying to study the technology, and over time, whether they like it or not, there will be technological transfer arising from the involvement and participation of Chinese workers. And what they're doing right now is building massive road infrastructure, railroads, so that, and then they invest massively in education, so that they have a competitive advantage, not just in terms of quantity of Chinese labor, but the quality of Chinese labor. And that is a function of sound, basic technical education. So the miracle that we can describe with China now becoming the second world economy, it's not something that was the result of miracles by church leaders and Islamic scholars. No, it was the result of meticulous planning and a rugged determination to translate the vision into reality. Nigeria can and must get to that point. And you as workers too, you have a role to play. I mean, we made our own honest mistakes. And I am not ashamed to talk about it. One of the things I thought I succeeded in achieving, along with my colleagues in leadership of our union then, was insisting that we cannot work more than beyond Monday to Friday. That Saturday, Sunday must be free for ceremonies, for marriages and so on, weekends, for religious reasons. And the Chinese guys were like, yes, you can fulfill all of that, but we need to run our factories 24/7 non-stop. Because if countries with advanced technologies are running the industry non-stop, why do we stop our own 5 days a week when others are doing 7? They want to run 4 shifts, which will create a situation where your off days may be Monday, Tuesday, another week will be Wednesday, Thursday, another week will be Friday, Saturday, so it will be Sunday, Monday. So it rotates like that. The bottom line, the machines are designed not to stop. But as a young, idealistic worker who was committed to workers' welfare, as I saw it, in terms of you work and you rest, and then putting perhaps undue value on particular days of the week as a result of religion, ethnicity, Christianity on Sunday and Saturday for ceremonies. Now when I look back, every warning they give them, but if we have less robotics, less computerized firms, and we are doing a 40-hour week when others are doing 60-hour week, there is no way we can compete because the world has become the same. By the time Nigerian government, in my view, harshly subscribed to WTO agreement and open the borders for so-called free trade, we were now exposed to competing with countries that are doing 60, 70 hours a week. To Nigeria, where we are doing 40 hours a week. And with that 40 hours, we still have 30 minutes break. So, once I think it was Abacha's government then, and then Obasanjo's government consolidated it, we now had to compete with the rest of the world. And it's clear. A tortoise cannot compete in a race with a tiger. And we, in my view, wrongly subscribe to free trade under the WTO rules without properly understanding our relative weakness vis-a-vis those people. And I think in terms of policy engagement, those are the areas the union must initiate. NSC as an umbrella body should take it to the next level to articulate that our industrial policy must be coherent. It must not be driven by idealism. We don't do anything because other people are doing it. We should do something because it is in Nigeria's best interest. And our foreign policy must be the focus in a way that we're not talking of Africa. It's Nigeria first, Nigeria second, then Africa and the world. But we cannot, the name of idealism, expose ourselves to the situation we're in. And lastly, government can give free money, but the challenge of the industry was it cash. Working capital was a consequence, it wasn't the cause. The cause, as I can trace, has to do with power supply. And as machines become more sophisticated, more computerization, etc., the power supply and the quality of that power supply become a basic necessity without which you can't compete. So whatever anybody is going to do, CBN will provide the money. That will be very helpful. Giving moratorium, in the light of COVID-19, making fund available in single digits compared to double digits if you go to commercial bank. All of that will be helpful, at least in not compounding the problem. But to bail out, we must get the power situation right. And if any one country can get it right, Nigeria should be able to get it right. And I believe that with some of the initiatives the President is pushing, if everybody key in and do a bit of reflection and think through what we can do differently to have at least uninterrupted power supply, Nigeria will be on its way to China and will compete with them. We are not lazy, we are creative, we are resourceful, we are vocal, we are imaginative, we excel abroad. Why can't we excel at home? So, once again, I thank you for visiting. I want you to know why I went to all of this. That don't think because I was in government, I have forgotten what the challenges are, or that I was national chairman of a party, I no longer share those sentiments. That is why I identify with you in the struggle for minimum wage. I identify with you in ensuring that minimum wage is paid and the consequential adjustment. I never abandon the workers because I cannot abandon my past. That's who I am. I can't run away from my shadow. My life views, my style, my assumptions, my choice of policy is informed by my understanding that society and governance is not value-free, it's value-driven. Somebody must pay for it, somebody must benefit from it. Who gets what is at the heart of contestation in governance. And be assured that I will say you have a comrade here. I mean, we are together in all of this. And I look forward to your conversion. Thank you again, Ali Baba. Congratulations. It's a huge task at this time, I can imagine. And Adaji,
thank you, sir.
Thank you for providing leadership for our great union.
Thank you, sir.